wing guy? All right, ranch or blue cheese?
Ranch.
What's your wing technique? I've learned a new one today. If you're eating flats, how do you attack them, guys? Can you just
dip it. You just take it off.
Andre taught me this one. I don't know. This seems like a lot. Okay. Drama. Sorry. I don't know if that made it any more efficient. I feel like that's classic TikTok.
It's a little more fun.
Yeah.
I just seen on TikTok. I never went back.
A number of things I've seen on TikTok where it's like, how to fold your clothes. And then you start doing it like, this is way more complicated. But it is a little more fun. I'm usually, pop a bone out, kind of one-handed.
I mean, when I do want to have fun, that's how I do it. But if I'm hungry,
Yeah.
you got to get down to it.
Kickoff question for you. If y'all were gonna have a competition like amongst the whole team and the winner gets $1 million, which you get to pick like what y'all are competing in. So a video game can be an activity, any kind of game. What game would you pick?
Kickball.
All right, so let's say we're doing kickball and you're doing, say like teams of 4. What are the 3 guys you get on your team?
Like kickball.
All right, let's say dodgeball. Teams of 4. Who are the other 3 guys on your team?
All right, me, Edwin, Conrad, and Gabriel.
Okay, going to all DBs.
Yeah, straight like that.
I can say the quarterback.
Best athletes on the team.
I love that. So we saw the other night, I was watching, we learned a bit about your athletic background. I didn't realize you were a sprinter in high school as well. You said you're the fastest in your family, but your sisters were also sprinters. What's their, talk to me a little bit more about their background.
So growing up, we all started running track when we were about like 5 years old. So they're older than me, so they started like getting into everything before me. And so they did a little bit of everything, sprinting, long distance, hurdles. So they pretty much had the whole athletic background, and growing up, like they pretty much ran the city when it came to track. Like everybody knew about the Kirkland girls. Kirkland girls this. Then there was just me. Like nobody really knew who I was. So every time I came up to somebody, they'd be like, "Oh, you the Kirkland's brother. Like you the Kirkland sister's brother." I'm like, I'm tired of hearing this, bro. Yeah. So I'm like, I gotta make a name for myself. So that's when football started coming along, and track, I started making a name for myself. And then it just became like competitive nature. Like I gotta make a name for myself. Like just as simple as somebody calling me somebody else's like brother, even though that's what I am, but I still just want to have that name for myself.
It's an important drive to have. Probably the best advice I ever got was when I was getting towards the end of college and I asked a mentor like, what should I do? You know, because I grew up in Tallahassee. I remember him being like, you need to move somewhere where you're not Maggie Moody's son, and then you can figure out how great you can be at anything.
Exactly.
The minute you are your own person fully. So like, do you feel like that kind of, I guess, maybe gave you a little bit of a chip on the shoulder and when you were training and practicing and trying to compete and all that?
Some people just use that, some type of fuel. I would say like, they're like, oh, you gonna let your sisters beat you? Your sister's gonna be better than you? They're gonna have a bigger than you? I'm like, all right, we're gonna see about this.
So you've taken on a huge role this year in your second year. You started with a pretty big role last year. I know you got a little banged up and all that, but this year you've taken on a huge role. So what's the chip on the shoulder now that drives you to compete against yourself and get better every day and make sure that you continue to play the role that you're playing now?
Just that itself. Just continue to make a name for myself, and with the opportunity they gave me to start, it's just don't give it back. So whatever I got to do, just keep that opportunity and keep making plays, keep being better, and just continue to thrive and just put good things on film. Even though I know a lot of things not gonna be perfect, and as we see on just game film, but it's just continue to work and just be better.
What makes a great safety?
I say physicality and just your overall communication and just knowledge of the field, knowing where to be at on the field. Because being a safety, you're doing just exactly what your name is. Like you're a safety guy for defense. Your job is to get the ball down and just be able to correct the team off what they do. Whenever there's an open gap, you have to be there to fit it. Whenever there's a run that break, you have to bring the ball down. And also when the ball's in the air, you have to go get the ball. So I say that, and your physicality got to show up like more than anything. So just being able to show that, and just to show your overall knowledge of the field and just overall knowledge of the defense and what's going on, be able to call things out. I feel like if you have those do those things at a high level, you'll be a great safety.
So what do you think developed the most in your skill set since you got to Florida State, like a year and a half ago?
Knowledge of the game, because I was always a pretty good athlete, not to, really toot my own horn. I can still be better, but just if you go out there and just focus, just rely on pure technique, athleticism, you're not really gonna get that far. Like if you don't have knowledge of the game and know what's coming, you're not really gonna be able to do anything. So from last year, I was just doing exactly what the coaches told me to do. Just whatever they told me to do, that's what I did. Now that I'm starting to free up more, I can make plays just from watching film. I know what's coming, so I'm able to put myself in that position just to make that play.
Gotcha. Step one is being able to do what the coaches tell you you're supposed to do. Step two is being able to interpret what it is you're supposed to do based on what you're seeing on the field. When we think about, what's next for KJ Kirkland, right? Going into your third year, what do you think is your biggest area for development or the main thing you're going to focus on headed into this offseason?
Turnovers. I got to get my hands on the ball. Got to get the ball back to the offense. It's good just to get regular stops and all that, but we need to get the ball back. So, and that's what editing day. That's what will make you the big buck. So just taking the ball away, giving the ball back to the offense. That's really just my main goal.
What's a better feeling, interception or like hard hit, forced fumble?
Big hit, yeah. Just hearing the crowd go out and you just walk off, celebration looking all tough. I feel like that's a little more exciting. But don't get me wrong, interceptions are good. And that's what's gonna get you paid. But it's just something about just laying somebody out.
Yeah, well, I feel like it's a safety. But again, you guys are the hitters on the secondary, so getting able to come down. I didn't make a lot of those in my day on this side of the table. Last one for you, man. When you think back, it can be as a kid or a recruit or a player or whatever. What's your first really vivid memory of Florida State football?
Florida versus Florida State.
Okay.
So growing up around my family was a big UF fan, so I was always just being around that environment, that tradition, just watching those guys go at it on Saturdays whenever it's time to play. I'm like the tradition Florida State brings is still none other. So I'm like, this is a pretty good team. Like the tradition they hold, these guys are consistent every year. So just watching those, I'm like, I could see myself playing there. And when it was time to be recruited, I'm like, yeah, I do see myself there. I do see myself making plays here. And it's just from there, when I committed and all that and signed, it was just made history.
So how good of a feeling was that last year getting to go play 100,000 people in the swamp and walk out there with a win? That must have been, is that like a childhood dream come true?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was crazy.
Do you have any holdout family members that were like, love you, KJ, but I'm still going to have to wear blue?
No, they're still, yeah, even when they're not, they have to root for me, they'll be like, I'm not putting on those colors, but I'll wear a neutral shirt, maybe a white shirt, just throw some letters on there and just maybe write 2-4 in the corner, just for you. But I'm not putting on a garden gold. But I'm like, okay, at least you support me. You're gonna turn over sometime.
Yeah, I love it, man. That's what makes the sport great. That's what makes sports great. I do sometimes wonder, man, if someone to UF, I don't. I guess maybe 12 weeks a year. I don't know. I'm not gonna commit either way now. So I'm not worried about that yet. But we appreciate you stopping by, bro. Thanks for chatting with us.
Thanks for having me.